Happy homecoming, everyone, and welcome into the broadcast this afternoon here on WLA TV. First shot at football here on the WLA YouTube channel. Live sports coming to you. I'm Jordan King taking you through the action today and appreciate you joining us. It's homecoming. It's a game that generally doesn't need any added motivation, any added intensity. WLA versus St. Mary Springs Academy, crosstown rivals. Always gets the blood pumping, the intensity going, and looking forward to a good one today. But this does have some added implications, obviously, with homecoming being what it is. That certainly adds something to the fire, a little fuel to the fire. But both of these teams searching for that fifth win, which would qualify them for postseason. And opportunities for the Vikings are certainly running out. You look at the schedule down the road next week. Only 3 games left. It's today. Next week at Mayville, who beat this St. Mary Springs Academy team earlier in the season, one of the 2 losses for Springs, and then finishing the season here at Viking Field against Lamira. So not many opportunities to find that playoff qualifying, postseason qualifying, clinching win for the Vikings. But today is one of those days, homecoming. A lot of students already in the stand. You can maybe hear the band a little bit as well. Atmosphere around here is great at Viking Field. For the St. Mary Springs Ledgers, they come into the season in that cluster with the Vikings for third in the conference. Should be second in the conference should they win today. Tied with Campbellsport. Vikings will be second in the conference if they beat Springs today, tied with Campbellsport. Of course, WLA lost to Campbellsport last week, so you would say that Campbellsport in the driver's seat to be second in the conference. Now, Campbellsport lost to Springs, so if Springs wins today, you would say the Ledgers would be the second best team in the conference. All chasing Mayville. Mayville perfect 5-0 in conference play. Campbellsport 4-1, Springs and WLA both 3-1. Again, WLA lost to Campbellsport. Springs beat Campbellsport. They lost to Mayville. Campbellsport has to play Mayville yet, as does WLA. Laconia 2-3, Lamira 2-3, 0-5 both for North Fond du Lac and Omro. North Fond du Lac is who the Springs played last week, and they hung up a 70 spot on them, 76-0. Beat Campbellsport the week before 7-0. Lamira was a 28-6 win for the Ledgers. Dropped a close one at Mayville. Tough place to go play down at Mayville. 35-28 in that one. In non-conference action, they beat Darlington 20-6 in that shocking Lake Country Lutheran defeat 45-0 early in the season. Well, we're just about ready for starting lineups and national anthem. We'll bring that to you here on WLA TV. Then it's kickoff time, and we're ready for some football. More if you stay with us right here on WLA TV.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the beautiful campus of Winnebago Lutheran Academy. Since 1954, this has been the home of the Vikings. This afternoon, we welcome as our guests the players, coaches, students, parents, and other fans of the Ledgers of St. Mary's Springs. Here are the starters today on offense for the Ledgers. Starting at center, number 63, Tony Jurgers. Starting guard, number 61, Kyle Pells. Starting guard, number 72, Billy Schroff. Starting tackle, number 68, Cooper Longley. Starting tackle, number 70, Chuck Kevel. Starting at tight end, number 9, Caden Blank. Starting tight end, number 10, Lucas Ramaker. Starting at split end, number 2, Sam Baker. Starting at running back, number 6, Jonathan Korb. Starting running back, number 33, Levi Humpner. And starting quarterback, number 7, Cullen King. The Ledgers are coached by Wisconsin's all-time winningest high school football coach, Bob Hyland. And now, here are the starters on offense today for your WLA Vikings. Starting at center, number 78, Captain Lucas Weigand. Starting guard, number 72, Oscar Bloom. Starting guard, number 52, Ethan Peterson. Starting tackle, number 55, Peyton Backery. Starting tackle, number 75, William Simmons. Starting at end, number 5, Noah Gensler. Starting at end, number 21, Captain Caleb Coolivert. Starting at wingback, number 23, Cole Wiedmeyer. Starting at running back, number 24, Captain Tyson Lofton. Starting at running back, number 28, Brendan Ebert. And starting at quarterback, number 12, Captain Ethan Cole. The Vikings are coached by Kevin Lair. Winnebago Lutheran, St. Mary's Springs, and the WIAA require good sportsmanship at education-based sporting events. Attendance at interscholastic activities is a privilege, with the expectation to exhibit positive and respectful behavior. For the enjoyment and respect of all in attendance, your cooperation in demonstrating the high ideals of sportsmanship is expected and greatly appreciated. Today's officials: Thor Anderson, Robert Getluski, Gerald Getluski, Sean McQuillan, and Ryan Repke. And now, ladies and gentlemen, to honor America and those who defend our freedoms, we ask those who are able to please stand, remove your hats, place your hands over your heart for the singing of our national anthem, performed today by the WLA Traveling Choir under the direction of Mr. Dale Whitty.
Stripes and bright stars through the perilous
Thank you, WLA Choir. Thank you also to the Honor Guard at the 50-yard line. Our trainer today is Tyler Schwartz from Agnesian Healthcare. We would like to thank Agnesian Bone and Joint Health for providing sports medicine services for our school and this event. Senior Sports Medicine.
Just about ready to get going here today for the homecoming of the Vikings. They take on the Ledgers in what is everyone, if you're been around Fond du Lac, you probably, or one of these two schools, you probably have a memory that involves Springs versus WLA. It's always a good time, and the Vikings are going to have to put out a good product today on the field if they're going to give Springs the trouble that they hope to. Number 2, Sam Baker. Number 6, Jonathan Korb. Number 7, Cullen King, the Flyway Conference leader in passing yards. Number 9, Caden Blank. Number 10, Lucas Ramaker. Number 33, Levi Humpfner. Number 44, Chuck Kebbel. Number 61, Kyle Pels. Number 63, Tony Yogers. Number 68, Cooper Longley. And number 72 on the offensive line, the guard, 6'6", 280, Billy Schrouth. And for the Vikings, Noah Gensler, number 5, Ethan Cole, quarterback for the Vikes, number 12. Number 21, Bubba Kulibert. Number 23, Cole Wiedmeyer. 24, Tyson Lofton. 28, Brendan Ebert. 52, Ethan Peterson. 55, Peyton Backery. Oscar Bloom, Chop Simmons, and Lucas Weigand all along that line as well. Vikes will kick, and Springs back to receive. Number 6, Jonathan Korb, and 33, Levi Humpfner. Coincidentally enough, the Vikings are the only one to have a return that has gone for a touchdown this year. It was Cole Wiedmeyer, and it was on a punt. There have been no kickoff returns for touchdowns in the Flyway Conference to date, and that one goes through the back of the end zone anyways. So first chance here for the St. Mary Springs Ledgers, and we'll see what they can do on offense. By far, not by far necessarily, but Cullen King for a large chunk of this season was distance at the top of the Flyway Conference in terms of passing yards. That has changed recently, but he's still number 1. Here's the first give. Hempfner on the right side, slips, and he's taken down by Ethan Cole in the backfield. Nice tackle by Cole. Humpfner on the season rushed for 538 yards, almost 90 per contest, and not a great start there. They're going to give him no gain on the play, so make it 2nd and 10 for the Ledgers. Ledgers in their white uniforms, the road team. Blue pants, got the black trim. Black S on the helmet as well. Motion here from the Springs. Hand it this time on the far side. That's Korb, sorry. And Korb's going to take that one for about 7. Not perfectly positioned here at midfield, so it's a little tricky to tell a great deal how much they picked up. They're going to give him 7 on that one. First 7 yards of the day for Springs. Big third down here early on in the contest for the Vikings. Springs has it at their own 27-yard line. 3rd and 3. King under center. Snap there. Up man is Humpfner. Humpfner breaks 3 tackles. Almost breaks another one, and that was a touchdown-saving tackle in the secondary by, I believe that was Bubba Kulibert. It was. And a nice hard run there from Humpfner to pick up the first down for Springs. We do have a flag on the far side. Did not see that. And it's going to knock this play off and move Springs back. They'll say illegal procedure. One of the illegal procedures, I guess, that doesn't stop the play. And move Springs back. So that's a big penalty. It's going to result in a 3rd and 8 now for Springs. And an opportunity, second chance here for the Vikings after they wrapped up Humpfner in the backfield. He broke 3 different tackles to pick up the first down. So 3rd and 8, King back under center. Might be his first opportunity to throw this time. More motion by Springs. This will be the first throw. Off the edge, Vikes fumble, and it's picked up by, I believe the Vikes got on top of it. Off of the edge was number 20, Jack Karst. The leading tackler for the Vikings forces a fumble from Cullen King, and the Vikes are going to take over deep in Ledger territory. That's a huge play by the sophomore Jack Karst. So on the change of possession, Vikes get a huge opportunity here on that fumble, again caused by Jack Karst. 10-10 left here in this first quarter. Ball at the 16-yard line. Cole in the shotgun, takes the snap. Lead blocker is Lofton. Cole able to stumble forward for about 4. And a good start for the Vikings offensively. This is not too dissimilar to the way that the Laconia game started for the Vikings. It was Karst in that instance, too, that picked off the Laconia quarterback and returned it into field goal range, and the Vikes got on the board early in that one. And a chance here once again already in field goal territory for the Vikes. Ball is placed at the 14-yard line. Going to give him 3 on that play, not 4. Cole back in the backfield. Once again, Lofton by his side. Little option there. Cole reads it and is going to dive forward for a couple. Like I said, you don't need much to hype up this game. If you're not hyped up for a rivalry game on Homecoming, maybe you're playing the wrong sport, right? But certainly is the case today, and Jack Karst just lit a fuse for the Vikings. That was 4 for Ethan Cole that time, setting up a 3rd and 3. Ball's down inside the 10 or just at the 10. Cole's going to take the snap, try once again on that right side. They're running away from Billy Schrouth. Not going to say that's a bad idea, but that time didn't work. Nice contain by the Ledgers, and I believe that will probably force a field goal, I would imagine. So Cole gave all 4 of the yards he had just picked up on the previous play back on that one. 4th and 7, check that. And the Vikes do not look like they're going to go in to field goal formation, although they are throwing the tee around here on the sideline. Maybe trying to get the Ledgers to jump. Nope, here's the snap. Cole drops back the pass. Schrouth coming off the edge. Cole has to scramble, and he's going to get wrapped up and quickly turn the ball over on downs back to the Springs. Great job by Schrouth, and I couldn't tell who it was on the far side, getting up the field, collapsing the pocket, and then the linebackers stepped into the hole that Cole was trying to step up into. And it's going to give the ball back to Springs. So WLA being aggressive, as I'm sure they would assume and tell you that 3 points probably isn't going to win it on every possession here today. So trying to be aggressive down inside the red area there. But Cole not able to gain the required 7 yards. Ball's at the 12. King under center. Gives it this time. And a nice diving forward there from Korb.
And on the tackle for the Vikings, Sebastian Paul. That's a pickup of 3 yards. It'll be 2nd and 7.
Going to give him 3 on that one. 2 receivers split to the near side for King. Couple in the backfield as well. That's Korb once again with Humpfner. This inside give to Korb once again. A little bit of a triple option look that time from Springs. Going to pick up a couple more. It's going to be about 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5. We'll give him 3rd and 5. Springs will huddle back up, and the Vikings looking for another big 3rd down play. It was an illegal procedure penalty, false start that doomed Springs last time. It was then Karst making the big play afterwards. Here's King's 2nd pass attempt. That time Karst overran it, and a nice catch there outside by the wide receiver James Bond. James Bone, pardon me.
For a Ledger first down at the 31-yard
That was a great pass by King. King just patient back in the pocket, and very mature play by Cullen King. He's a junior, 6'6", 180, easily sees over the top of the line. And that time just patient enough to let the play develop. Looks like a gain of 7 there. Handoff here up the middle, and Springs' best run of the day for them with Korb. Korb picked up about 9.
40-yard line.
Up to the 40, and Springs starting to put a nice drive together here.
9 yards. It'll be 2nd and 1.
WLA trying to dig in here. 2nd and 1. 2 running backs in the backfield. 2 receivers to the top. Looked like the Vikes might have jumped. Didn't see a flag come out. And the Ledgers will pick up the first down anyway with Hempfner.
First down at the 45-yard line.
Hempfner picks up another 5, and this is a little bit more like we would have expected Springs to look like. Springs students starting to show up now. They got the pink out going. The Ledger fans. Just a classic blue and white. Use the homecoming colors for the Vikings. Up man, there's a fumble again. Ball on the ground. This time King quickest to it, and it's going to be a 2nd down. Miscommunication with he and Korb, and the ball hit the turf. Bounced kindly back to King, and the Ledgers will retain. So that's the 2nd fumble here in the first half for King. That one, I suppose it will go under King statistically, right? That he fumbled it. Takes 2 to tango on a missed handoff, though. This one's better to Korb, and Korb dices his way through. Another 6 yards for Korb. And Korb's got it going on this possession. He's had runs of 9, 6, 3, and 2. 20 yards so far on this possession for Jonathan Korb as he has looked better here early. Korb rushes for 46 yards per game in what is a pretty potent rushing attack for Springs. Turn, hand, and this time diving across the first down marker is Humpfner. And it's nice when you got a pair of running backs that can do just what these two are doing for Springs. 5-yard pickup that time from Humpfner and another first down. Springs just methodically making their way downfield here. And a couple of Viking players this time, after the first down, had their hands on their knees. Back under center goes King. 2 receivers to the top. Split wishbone look in the backfield. Humpfner stacked up this time by the Vikings, and that's going to gain nothing. Better that time from the Vikings. Halftime today, by the way. Pastor Zahn going to be honored. Coach Zahn for his many, many years of coaching service to the Viking program. A couple of local legends, on the sideline here today. Coach Zahn, that's a fumbled snap, and a flag comes out. I wonder if that was a kind of a snap infraction there. Or they're going to say no. False start. Usually, sometimes when that happens, when the snap gets fumbled like that, sometimes it's a snap infraction, and I think that's what we had there. So 2nd and 15 for the Ledgers. King back under center. Humpfner now split out as the tight end. And he's going to go out in a pass. Beats his man over the top, and catching it is Humpfner. And a huge play that time for Springs. A nice play. They were at the 49 down to the 20. That's a 29-yard pickup to Humpfner from King. And a great pass that time. Plenty of time in the pocket. King stepped up, rainbowed one down the field. And it was Humpfner who beat his man on who was on coverage there. And now the Ledgers are in business. Here's the give to Korb, who gets hit by a couple of Vikings right at the line of scrimmage. Give him a couple of yards there. He picked up 3. Well, other than the 2 fumbles, Springs offense has looked good. Certainly looks like it's going to be able to move the ball today against the Vikings. And if you're WLA, going to be a long afternoon, but you got to be ready to come to play. Here's the jet sweep, and breaking a tackle is Bone, and not able to break the second tackle. They've used that sweep motion a couple of times, haven't given it until now, and 3 more yards sets up a 3rd and 4. Nice carry by James Bone. Bone, a senior, 5'10", 165-pound receiver. He only has, that was his 4th carry on the season, so they don't use that jet. They don't actually give on the jet sweep that often, but it looks pretty good, pretty productive that time. Big hole on this near side. Stepping through it is Humphrey, and he's going to have another first down. Picked up 5 on the play. He needed 4. And it's going to be goal to go for the Ledgers. Ball at the 8. This was a drive that started at their own 12-yard line, and the Ledgers have marched it all the way here. Now just 8 yards to go to find pay dirt for the first time today. Still scoreless here in the first quarter. Give to Humphrey. Thought maybe King had pulled that back in. Waiting for a signal. It looked like Humphrey had reached across. Now the signal comes in, and the Ledgers are the first to score here today. 8 yards for Humphrey on a very tough touchdown run, and it's 6-0. So after the opening turnover, big fumble from King, Vikes not able to take advantage of it, and on the ensuing possession, King leads the Ledgers to pay dirt. 7-0. Take 30-second timeout here. Come back. You're listening and watching WLA football on WLA TV. So it's an 88-yard touchdown drive for the Ledgers, and they'll head back to kick off. It's going to be Tyson Lofton, Cole Wiedmeyer, amongst others, back to receive for the Vikings. This is Rotman to kick for the Ledgers. It's a short kick taken by the Vikings. This is Bubba Coolibert. Coolibert kind of turned like he was going to toss it to pitch it to Lofton. Instead, he returns it and gets it out to about the 31, 32-yard line. 1 minute left here to go here in the first quarter. Almost got to fall out of the window here to see the scoreboard. We're just happy that we're calling football.
The ball spotted at the 32-yard line, 1st and 10 Vikings.
So Ethan Cole will try again. 4 runs of his on the first drive, and it resulted in a turnover on downs for the Vikings. That's a swing pass, and Springs was all over it. Number 10 for the Ledgers is Lucas Ramaker, and he read that perfectly.
Loss of a couple yards on the play.
slung across, so it was a completed pass, but went for -2 yards, and the Vikes are already behind the chains. At least on that first drive, the Vikes were able to stay ahead of the chains for a couple of plays, and then that third down play that went for a loss of 4 was the big turning point. But the Vikes down inside the red zone last drive and not able to get anything. Here's Tyson Lofton, his first carry here of the afternoon, and that goes for a couple of yards back to the original line of scrimmage. Yeah, they're going to give him actually 3. So it's 3rd and 9. And that'll end the first quarter between the Vikings and the Ledgers. Entertaining first quarter. One where the Vikings left something out there, I would say, but a difficult opponent this afternoon. We're going to try to catch you up on the other fall sports here during the quarter break, see if we can flag down a volleyball player and a cross-country runner and a soccer player and bring them up here and update you on their seasons. Always enjoy covering the volleyball games, broadcasting those on WLA TV. It's fun to do. So we'll see if we can flag someone down here. And we'll be back in a couple of minutes here on WLA TV. Third and 9 here as we start the second quarter. And a big third down at that. Cole in the shotgun. 2 receivers to the top. They're going to set up a little screen here. Offensive lineman out in front. And I believe they're going to get a first down with that. Flipped it out to Brendan Ebert, who's a tight end for the Vikings. Tight end / running back is Ebert. And that's going to be good for 10. Should be a first down. Based on that far side official, I don't think there should be much question about that. They're going to meet at midfield, have a little discussion. I believe it's a first down. We'll see. They may stop this and have a measurement. No. Oh, we have a couple of flags on the play. I think we had offsetting penalties for unsportsmanlike conduct. Check that. It's just on the Ledgers. So add 15 to the end of the play. And after the 10-yard pickup from Brendan Ebert, Vikings get the first down, helped out by the penalty, and for the second time today, are in Ledger territory. First possession, they were down inside the red zone, failed to score there. Next break in action, we're going to talk to Matt Nygaard. He's a soccer player, senior captain for the Vikings. Get an update on the soccer season for you. Cole's going to keep this one, and well, if he gave it to Tyson Lofton, he would have resulted in about the same situation. 3-yard pickup for Cole as he dives forward and takes another hit. I think Tyson Lofton and Ethan Cole, probably the best advice you could have given them going into this game was just be ready to get hit a bunch, which I think Ethan Cole both of those guys probably embrace that type of style. Fun fact, Ethan Cole's a very good volleyball player, I found out this week. This up the middle here for Tyson Lofton. Lofton's going to pick up another 2 or 3 yards. They're going to give him 2. And it'll be 3rd and 5. Big third down here for the Vikings once again. Vikings come to the line. Gensler, Wiedmeyer at the top of the formation. Down here at the bottom is Bubba Coolibert. Bubba's got to make a big play today. He's the homecoming king, right? That's just how that works. They're looking his way here. Cuts off the route. That's off his hands and incomplete. It's going to be a 4th down. 4th and 9. Cole comes to the sideline to check what the play call is going to be. And we'll see. Cole, kind of hard to tell. Cole stays in to punt as well, so a little tricky to tell if the Vikings are going for it or if they are indeed punting the football. Ball sits at the 38-yard line, 4th and 6. And Cole is approaching the line of scrimmage as if the Vikes are going to go for it once again. Again, not super surprising the Vikes would be aggressive. Now Cole's going to back up. No, it's a fake. Cole was backing up like he was going to punt the football, snap to the up man, Tyson Lofton, and I think he's going to get cut down just a touch short. He needed 6. I think Lofton got 5.5. And I don't think that's quite enough. They're going to bring in a measure. They stopped the clock. And they're going to have another conversation. If you're going to have the conversation, I feel like you should just measure the spot, but that's why they're out there and I'm up here. And they're going to re-spot the football now, and that was a huge advantage to the Vikings. Now they're going to bring the chains out. And as they do, we'll bring in Matt Nygaard here. Matt is captain for the Vikings. Matt, Pastor Haig said it last night at Skit Night, but for anyone that missed it, 6 losses this season, but it can be a little bit misleading when you talk about 6 losses, right?
Yeah, as Pastor Haig said it, we lost to 3 of the top 5 ranked teams in the state, and our other 3 losses were to a Division II team and 2 Division I teams. Well, we're a Division IV team, so I think it's a successful season so far, despite our results.
Ledger's going to take over on possession here. The Vikes were still about 6 inches too short. And real quick, Matt, looking forward to the rest of the conference season. How's the team feeling?
I think we're feeling good. I think we're fired up to be the annoying driver in the rearview mirror of St. Lawrence as they lead the Flyway Conference, but we're right behind them.
There you go. Matt, appreciate it for a couple of minutes. And if you see any of the volleyball or cross-country runners down there, send them up here. Tell them we need an update on their season, all right? Thanks, Matt. And Springs takes over here in the backfield. King hands it. And the Vikes, nice play in the backfield. That's Korb. He's going to pick up a yard. Just a modest gain for Korb. Just had to squeeze Matt in there. I wish we had a little more time to flesh out a conversation, but Matt, one of the terrific leaders, and I help coach the soccer team, and Matt's hard worker, great leader, communicator. That's why he's a captain of the soccer team. And just referencing there, trying to be a pest to the St. Lawrence Seminary Hilltoppers, who currently lead the conference. Here's the snap from King. A couple of flags, and one of the flags was from the deep judge, the back judge, so I wonder if that might have been a delay of game. Snap infraction, I believe. I couldn't see what the call was, but it was not delay of game. Yeah, it was delay of game. All right. 2nd and 14 after the 5 yards get marched off for the Ledgers. 2 receivers to the top, 1 split down to the bottom. Check that, 1 receiver, 1 tight end. Still got the 2 running backs behind King. King takes the snap, looks to the top. Now it's going to be a delayed draw. Big hole, and on the near side, down the sideline goes Jonathan Korb. And Korb continues to have a lot of success running the football. He took that one from the 29 into Vikings territory down to the 40, we'll call it the 46-yard line. Great run from Korb as he picks up about 25.
Ball is at the Viking 47, first and 10 Ledger.
They're going to mark it at the 47, so give him 24 yards on that pickup. Two tight ends to the near side, two receivers to the top with a couple of running backs. King looks far side. Out pattern there is caught by Bone. Nice catch by James Bone. 8 yards pickup on the play, and Cullen King, you're starting to see why he's the top passer in the Flyway Conference. Just very smooth looking pro style type of quarterback and a great thrower of the football. He averages just 87 yards per game. Now again, a little misleading with how good the Springs rushing attack is with Humphrey and Korb. Humphrey the leading rusher for Springs, and maybe this is why. He breaks free on the near side, and a terrific tackle there by Cole Wiedmeyer. Just hanging on for dear life, but it's a 9-yard pickup. But so far today, Korb has been the better runner, at least yardage-wise, production-wise for Springs. Not to say that Huffner hasn't been good, because he has, as you saw with that explosive run there, and he's a tough guy to bring down. Both Korb and Humphrey still in the backfield. Up man is Humphrey. He gets the ball. Check that. That's Korb. And Cole strips it out of him. As he was being tackled, Cole ripped it out. And I think that's going to draw an unsportsmanlike or a sideline warning. Or is it an unsportsmanlike on the Vikings? Vikings coaches were not happy that this was not ruled a turnover. Just a warning for the Vikings. And it'll be second down. So a pickup of 4 for Korb. Here's the handoff once again to Korb. Korb jukes, tries to find a hole on the near side, and I think he's got enough to march off that first down. He needed 6. I think he got just enough. We'll wait for the spot. They're going to say he is, well, the chain gang was moving. Far side official was saying first down. The main official was saying third down. Now he walks up for a first down. All that to say, Korb got 6 yards. So first down for Springs, who has been very good here in this second quarter. Really, since the opening fumble, Springs has been terrific offensively. It's going to force a Viking timeout as they'll talk things over and try to regroup a little bit offensively. Up in the top corner, you can see some of the sponsors that make the stream possible. Certainly appreciate that. National Exchange Bank is one of those that you'll see scrolling across there, the game sponsors here for Homecoming. National Exchange Bank. Out of the timeout here, Springs going to trot back onto the field. They're inside the red zone. Ball sits at the 19 with a 1st and 10 opportunity against these Vikings, trying to extend what is already a 7-0 lead. King, under center, couple of receivers to either side. Give is to Humphrey. Humphrey breaks the first tackle, as he has done so often tonight, or this afternoon, pardon me. And he's going to gain 4 yards. Humphrey had 18 yards on that rushing on that first touchdown possession for Springs, but he also had 29 yards through the air on that pass where ran a route right up the middle, beat the linebacker, and King found him over the middle. Just a tough guy to bring down. He's got the soft hands that you can use him in the receiving game. Here's a little counter play. Oh, and Schrouth just decleated a Viking as they pull Billy Schrouth, and that was 280 pounds of offensive guard coming at the Vikings. And Humphrey takes the ball inside the 10-yard line. From the 15, I believe they got that one down to the 6 or 7. It's going to be first and goal from the 6. So that's another 9 for Humphrey. As you might imagine, Humphrey is going to be more and more difficult to take down as this game continues. Give this time is to Korb. Korb knifes his way inside the 5-yard line. Looks like he's down to the 3 about. Check that, down to the 2. Where it'll be second and goal. 5 yards on the pickup from Korb. And the Vikes might be in trouble here down at the goal line. King under center. He's a big kid too. I mean, 6'6", might be just easy enough to sweep it in. Instead, he's going to turn, hand to Humphrey, who gets his second touchdown of the day. It's a 1-yard touchdown dive for Humphrey. Great possession for Springs that time and results in 6 more points. They lead at 13-0 with 6:03 left to go here in the first half. This is a Springs offense that, as I mentioned in the pregame, just hung 76 points on North Fond du Lac. I don't think they're going to get to 76 this afternoon, but looking good offensively. Kick is up and kick is good from Cole Rotman, and it's 14-0. Vikes got to get something going offensively. Back in 30 here on WLA TV. So once again, 14-0 here in the second quarter, just over 6 minutes left to play. And the Vikings got to get something working offensively. They find themselves trailing 14-0 despite having one red zone trip and another offensive possession that was well into Springs territory as well. Both of them yielding fourth down turnover on down stops for the Ledgers. On the return here, that's Jacob Huey. And he's not going to get out to the 30, but decent return out to the 28-yard line, which is where the Vikes will start. When the Vikes had success against Laconia a couple weeks back, it was on the ground, and it was a collection of 3 players, really. It was Cole Wiedmeyer, kind of the speed back for the Vikings, although he's kind of limping to the sideline here. And into the game comes Jacob Huey, who is another running back for the Vikings. Huey's going to split out to the near side along with Noah Gensler. Cole in the backfield. Got one tight end and a receiver, Bubba Coolibert to the top. And we got a false start for the Vikings. So right away, getting behind the chains, not a good start here to this drive, as the Vikes will start it first and 15. Looked like there was some miscommunication there. Cole looked over to the sideline, and I don't know if there was a miscommunication with the play call or what that might have been, but Cole looked over to the near sideline, and someone on the far sideline of the Vikings offensive formation moved. So the Vikes will try it now once again. First and 15 this time. Ebert goes in motion. Check that. That's Huey going in motion. Near side is Gensler on the screen pass. And Gensler's going to pick up maybe a yard. Give him a yard, so should bring up second and 14. They're going to say he didn't. He just picked up part of the yard and still long 14. We'll give him a long 14. Second and 14. PA said second and 15, so they're saying no gain on that play. Cole back in the shotgun. Don't see him under center very often. He's got Lofton off to his left. Here's some misdirection by the Vikings. Cutting up the field is Ebert. And a nice run there by Ebert to at least make this third and manageable. It's still going to be a long, about 6 or, we'll call it 7 or 8 yards. But much more manageable than 3rd and 15. 3rd and 7, so pickup of 8 for Brendan Ebert. A couple of nice runs from Ebert so far this afternoon. And the Vikes are going to take a timeout, discuss it. It is an important situation here for the Vikes. Trying to get some momentum here heading into the halftime. Vikes kicked off first, so they'll get the ball to start the second half. If they can put together a touchdown drive, cut this lead in half for Springs, perhaps that will allow the Vikes get back into this game momentum-wise, and sometimes that's all you need, just a break to go your way, and if the Vikes can have that happen, certainly they would take that. But standing in their way of that is 7 yards currently. Vikes have been aggressive so far. They've gone for it on a couple of 4th and longs. Both of them were in this range, actually. That's 4th and 7, 4th and 8 range. The Vikes have gone for both of them and come up short on both of them. They ran. Second one was kind of a fake punt of sorts.
3rd and 7 for the Vikings.
But a couple of downs to do it this time. There it's 3rd and 7. Cole this time with Lofton off to his right. Cole takes the snap, fakes the handoff, looks to the far side of the field, lobs one up. It's Gensler overthrown. Gensler that time covered well by Isaac Highland. Highland was able to get out to the threat of Gensler. Gensler will come running across the field and off the field. Looked like a nice pass from Ethan Cole, but just a little overthrown. So 4th and 7 once again. What do the Vikes do this time? Going to line up as if they will go for it. Gone for a couple of them. They're 0 for 2 on 4th down. Cole, shotgun. Going to trot back, and it looks like it's going to be a punt. Viking goes in motion. That's Huey. Now, a couple of ledgers through the line. This is a great punt from Ethan Cole, and it's, he is going to try to return it. It's James Bowen. Bowen headed back towards his own goal line, and that's usually when blocks in the back happen, and that just happened then. Ledger had his helmet pop off. Yeah, Bowen got hit hard on the return, and his helmet popped off. It's going to be a block in the back. It was a pretty easy one. Bowen picked it up, sprinting full speed towards his own goal line, and usually that's when the blocks in the back happen, and Coach Highland not happy about it, as he is letting his special teams know. So the flag lies at the 21 or 22, so that should be marched back to about the 11 or 12 yard line of Springs, which is where they'll start. Now, early in the game, their second drive, they took 88 yards from their own 12 yard line. This one will start from their own 11. And they have 4 minutes and 19 seconds to potentially do that again. Take it 89 yards and put some more points on the board and really put the Vikes in a tough situation. King. And might even be a longer touchdown drive. Vikes were offside. Jumped into the neutral zone. And they're going to march off 5. So that's a good way to start the possession. These two possessions the Vikes' last offensive possession started with a false start. They start their possession with a 1st and 15. This time, it's the opposite. The Vikes jump off sides, and Springs is a good enough team. They'll beat you. You don't have to beat yourselves, and the Vikings have done that a little bit today with a couple of penalties to put themselves behind the chains or to help Springs. That ball's on the floor, and I think Korb got back on top of it. That is the 3rd fumble today for Springs. They've only lost one of them, but that was punched out by a Viking, and Korb hopped back on it. So that go down as a rush for Korb along with the fumble, and he lost, we'll say 3 yards, bring up 2nd and 8. 2 receivers to the near side. They got a couple of tight ends to the top and the 2 running backs in the backfield. Under center goes King. Snap. Gives it. This time, Humphrey makes a couple of moves. Check that. That's not Humphrey. That's a nice run, though, by number 37. First carry of the day for Brendan Gartig. And it's a first down. Out to the 27. Nice run there. Give him 12 yards, I believe, on the play. This looks like Humphrey. It is. And Humphrey will pick up 6. You got to bring a couple of guys to tackle Humphrey and to actually get him on the ground. The first guy is almost every time bounced off of Humphrey so far today. A couple of Vikings that time. One of them was Ethan Cole, and you feel like you stuffed him, and he still got 2 yards. So 3rd and 2. King under center. Receiver to the top and to the bottom. Give is to Humphrey. Humphrey, couple of Vikes. Stack him up. He looks to be short. And it will be 4th down. They're going to stop the clock. I mean, well, the chain gang moved it to the 4th down because they think it was clear enough. Referees do not agree, so they'll bring out the chain gang. Got to be honest, from my vantage point, now this is the best part of the field. It looked well short. Yeah, that's a good 2 feet short.
The Ledgers will have 4th and a foot when play resumes.
But better to get it right. So it's 4th and couple of feet for the Ledgers, and they've had no trouble. Like I said, when you give the ball to Humphrey, it seems like just by default, and to the Ledgers' credit, they don't start their running backs 7 yards in the backfield. Their running backs are about 1.5 yards or 2 yards behind Cullen King, the quarterback. This is going to be a quarterback draw, and with a couple of running backs helping him, King dives forward for 3. It'll be a first down. Easy as you like when you got a guy like Levi Humphrey behind you. 195 pounds of muscle pushing you across the line. Have not seen Kolb since he put the ball on the turf. This ball's fumbled once again. The snap fumbled, and somehow King got a yard out of it. Fumbled forward, and he dove on top of it. 2nd and 9. And the now they're going to respot it back. Gain of nothing. 2nd and 10. 2 receivers, 1 on either side, and 2 running backs. King drops back. Vikes put on a rush. This is down the near side and off of the hands. Intended target was number 89, Josiah Mole. That was a nice-looking pass from Cullen King, and Kolb had a chance at it. Went up, tried to get it, and was not able to bring it down. Coverage that time was pretty good from Noah Schumacher, the sophomore for the Vikings, in the secondary. Several Vikings with their hands on their knees out there, and I know there's a lot of Vikes, especially in the trenches, that go both ways, and they probably knew they were going to be in for a fight today with the Ledgers. One receiver to the top, one to the bottom, two running backs in the backfield for this 3rd and 10. Play action. King looks far side, going to go deep. This one's wobbling. Wonder if that got tipped at the line or if King just had a misthrow there. But King and the offense are going to trot off the field, and I think the Vikes have finally forced a stop that is not fumble related for the Ledgers. Isaac Highland will come on and warming up the leg to punt it away to the Vikings. Couple of Vikes back there. Cole Wiedmeyer and Jacob Huey. Wiedmeyer has the only punt return touchdown in the Flyway Conference this season. This one's going to go to Huey. Huey takes it in at about the 18-yard line, knifes up the field. Nice return. Check that. It was caught at the 28, and he's going to take it out to the 39. As you heard the PA say there, 1 timeout for the Vikings, and they got to go 61 yards here in just 56 seconds. Halftime coming up. We will try to hook into the audio so we can be part of the presentation at halftime. Got the homecoming court introductions, as well as a tribute to Pastor and Coach Zahn for all his years of service to the Viking football team. Here's Ethan Cole. Shotgun, slings it with the left arm, and that one's outside of Cole Wiedmeyer. Drops at the feet of a couple of Springs players on the far side. 2nd and 10. I see 12. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Thought I saw 12 Springs players, but one of them was just off the sideline. I counting them. There's a nice run by Tyson Lofton after the first down incompletion. Lofton's going to pick up 8 on 2nd. 3rd and 2 for the Vikes. This is probably 4-down territory with how the clock is running down. Lofton, once again, goes on the far side. He's going to be pushed back, but his forward progress should have him out to midfield and the first down. They're going to give him 3, and the Vikes have a first down. There it's ball's at midfield. 16.3 seconds left here in the first half. So the Vikes huddling up. He did go out of bounds, so the clock wasn't just to reset the change, it stopped. Reset the chains, it stopped. Although with forward progress, I would contend he was tackled inbounds. Cole, in the shotgun formation, gives to Lofton. Lofton, another 6 or 7 yards. Are the Vikes going to take the timeout, or are they going to take the ball into the half? I think they're just going to take this to halftime. No, they are going to take a timeout with just 3 seconds left. So maybe a shot play here. See if Ethan Cole's got the arm strength to throw one up into the end zone. Otherwise, I would have guessed you would have taken that timeout maybe a little earlier, but now just about guaranteed for the half to run out. Should you throw one deep here. That, by the way, was a 5-yard pickup for Tyson Lofton. Lofton having some success here on this drive. He's got the last 16 yards, all 16 yards on the drive for the Vikes. Got to preach safety here a little bit. If you're going to drop and throw it deep, Got to protect him. Vikes have what should just be a terrific offensive line. They're going to actually get 6-yard pickup for Lofton. Vikes have a little bit of an inexperienced offensive line, but one that when they get to be upperclassmen, this should be an offensive line that should have a lot of success for WLA. Receiver to the top, receiver to the bottom, and one in the slot. That's Ebert. Ebert motions back in to help protect. They're protecting Cole. Cole has it batted down. It's picked and on his knees. That was a good thing for the Vikings. Caden Blank intercepted it on his knees, and if he hadn't, he had a convoy ahead of him, and that might have been an interesting situation. That might have put points on the board for the Vikings, or for the Ledgers. Nonetheless, it's an interception to end the half for Ethan Cole, one where he was trying to heave it deep. It got tipped at the line by a Springs lineman. That was Chuck Kebbel, who came blasting through there and tipped it, and then it was picked off by Caden Blank. 14-0 here at halftime. Again, we'll try to allow you to hear some of the festivities here on Homecoming. Appreciate you tuning in. Second half will be coming right at you after this halftime presentation here on WLA TV. Stay with us.
Week here at the Academy as we have celebrated homecoming, and it's now time to meet the WLA Homecoming Court. In the first vehicle, our court members, Emily Davies, Lucas Weigand, Mara Trewen, Kyle Coleman, Mary Zellner, and Alex Mookie. And in the second vehicle, we have Prince Mason Lynch and Princess Ella Borgwardt. They are joined by King Bubba Coolert and Queen Maddie Lair. Congratulations to the 2021 Homecoming Court. Now, if you would turn your attention to the south end sideline, WLA is excited to have our alumni back on campus at any time. And today, as part of Homecoming Weekend, WLA welcomes back to campus, due to COVID, the class of 1970, 50 years ago, the seniors, and the class of 1971. Welcome back. We also have celebrating a 10th year reunion due to COVID, the class of 2010. Special thanks go out to Steve Thiesfeld and Peter Plagans for their roles in organizing these reunions. Members of these classes are gathered near the south end zone, and we thank them for their support of WLA with another round of applause. If you're an alumni of WLA and want more information about how WLA can help your class organize an upcoming reunion, please contact either Johanna Yenter or Kevin Elke in our Mission Advancement Office. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I direct your attention to the 50-yard line on the straightaway of the track. We have gathered there athletic director and coach and wife. In 1982, Pastor Rick Zahn accepted a divine call to teach religion and Latin classes at Winnebago Lutheran Academy and to also coach football. After serving as an assistant to Paul Knippel for one season, Pastor Zahn became the head coach of Viking football starting in 1983. During the 1986 season, the Vikings won the WISA State Football Championship. Pastor Zahn served as head coach for a total of 20 seasons, and then continued to serve as an assistant football coach for another 19 seasons. He also coached JV baseball for many years during his ministry at WLA. Pastor Zahn is well known for his hard work, his dedication, and his passion for students, both in the classroom as well as on the field. Beside every good football coach, you will usually find a faithful and supportive wife. Today, we would also like to thank Barb Zahn for her many years of service, for her husband Rick, her school WLA, and her Lord as well. Well done, good and faithful servants. God has blessed you and all of us for many years at WLA, and He promises to continue to bless you in your retirement years. And now, student body, the drama continues. We're going to announce the winners of all the different competitions this week. First of all, as most students know, the Powder Puff football was won by the dominating junior class. The Power Buff volleyball was won by the senior class. Skit competition held in the WLA gym last night was won by the sophomore class. The lip sync competition was won by the senior class. And the decorations were won by the sophomore class. Congratulations. Good job, students.
There you go. That was a great tribute to Coach Zahn and his many years of service, both in and out of the classroom here at WLA, and someone I had the pleasure of being taught by, never coached by, didn't play baseball or football, but being taught by Pastor Zahn, as so many were. Now, I had him for 4 years because I was smart enough to take Latin. You don't care about that, but Pastor Zahn, an icon for the Vikings, and certainly it's weird walking the hallways without Pastor Zahn in there as well. It's one of the all-time greats, and I'm sure he wouldn't like me saying that, but it's the case. It's true. You come to homecomings, you expect to see Pastor Zahn, and I'm sure he'll be out on the football field until you have to drag him off. And he loves being around the kids and around the team. And he's a great coach, great man, great teacher, Pastor Zahn. Couple of stats here at halftime. Really the only offense to speak of for the Vikings is 31 rushing yards, at least that's what I had, for Tyson Lofton. Ethan Cole held around 0 yards rushing with all the pressure that he was under and really didn't get anything going in the running game. Talking about Ethan Cole. Cole also had the interception to end the half and only about somewhere in the 10 to 15 yards passing for Ethan Cole. He had a couple that went for losses at the end of that first half. For Springs, more success offensively, certainly for the Ledgers. 72 yards rushing for Jonathan Korb. He did have a fumble, and then we didn't see him for the rest of that first half. My guess is we will see him once again in the second half. Levi Humpfner, the other running back for Springs, 50 yards on the ground and 2 touchdowns rushing. He also has 29 yards receiving, so 79 total yards to lead Springs for Levi Humpfner, the junior. Korb is a junior as well, and then Cullen King, their starting quarterback, leads the conference in passing yards, and he only needed 54 there in that first half to help Springs build a 14-0 lead. Couple more minutes left here in halftime. We will take them with you, and we will come back with the second half. You're watching WLA football on WLA TV. Stay with us. Down to about 30 seconds here in halftime. First half dominated in many respects by the Ledgers, and the Vikings had a couple of opportunities. Got a turnover inside the red zone, turned that into 0 points, and had the ball on the turf a couple of other times there in that first half, and the Vikes not able to take advantage of either of those couple of opportunities when the ball did hit the turf. So you had the turnover that did not yield points. You had a couple other missed chances on turnovers. Threw a pick to end the first half. But if you're looking for optimistic points for the Vikings, they're only down by 14, and that is not an unassailable lead by any means for the Ledgers. And much in a similar way, if you're playing soccer or hockey, and a 2-goal lead is called the most dangerous lead in sports. Maybe 14-0 is the most dangerous lead in football. I suppose it's a little bit different because you don't necessarily, not every score is worth the same amount in football. Can't kick 2 field goals and get tied. It'll be Tyson Lofton back to receive for the Vikes. Wiedmeyer's back there as well. Bubba Coolibert back there. Jacob Huey back there as well. Huey's gotten a chance, as has Coolibert, on kickoffs. This one should sail over the head of Lofton into the end zone. It does. That'll be a touchback, and the Vikes will start at the 20. They got a flag out there, too. Not many times you see a flag on a touchback, but that's what we have here. And we'll check what that might be as the Vikes trot out onto the field. One Viking threw his hands up as he left the field. That's the sophomore Noah Schumacher. I don't know if that's related to the flag, but it was kind of threw his arms up like he might have been guilty. They'll continue to discuss. And announcement pending. And it looked like the ref just pointed at the Vikings. That targeting. That is the signal for targeting, I do believe. Or below to the head. At least in college, it's targeting is that same blow to the head signal. 2 receivers to the near side, 1 to the top side. It's Wiedmeyer and Coolibert to this near side. Tough start for the Vikings. Once again, putting themselves in challenging situations here against this Tough Springs team. Lofton is going to get the carry here. Lofton had 31 yards in the first half. Going to get 5 there and bring up 2nd and 5. So the touchback was to the 20. Bring it back to the 10-yard line, half the distance to the goal on the personal foul penalty. And the Vikes get 5 on the first play from scrimmage. 2nd and 5. Cole in the shotgun. Has Lofton once again off to his left, pardon me. He's going to run left. Option, pitch to Lofton. Lofton lost his feet, and he's going to gain nothing on the play. First time we've seen that option look for the Vikings. Cole has not gotten going running offensively at all. We saw him dominate against Laconia, but not so far today. And can't blame, I mean, it's always a good idea to take away the opposing team's quarterback, I would say. But certainly Ethan Cole has suffered that treatment from the Ledgers today. This time off to his right is Lofton. Cole's going to scramble to his left, though. He rolls, cuts back upfield. He's going to gain a couple. Schrouthen on the tackle, among others. Just a yard there for Ethan Cole, and it's going to bring up a 4th and 4.
Vikings, 4th and 4.
So Gensler will leave, bring in Jacob Huey, who's been in on all of the punts so far. Usually one of the punt coverage men for the Vikings. James Bone is playing safety. He'll drop back if the Vikings trot back and punt. Cole's going to do so. Coolabird on the jet motion, but they will punt it away. Ball's going to hit right at the 50 and bounce out of bounds just north of the 40 for the Ledgers. Believe that it'll be at the 43. That's right. So a good start to the second half for the Springs. Vikings not helping themselves with the personal foul penalty, starting their drive at the 10-yard line. Good first down play, but then the Vikings stuffed on a couple of runs. And Ledger's defense is no joke. I mean, this is a team that shut down what was a very potent Campbellsport offense. Campbellsport's first 2 conference games scored 30 points apiece and then scored 28 against the Vikes last week. They were shut out by the Ledgers when they played a couple of weeks ago. Here's the first play of the second half from scrimmage for the Ledgers, and it's going to be a 10-yard gain for Korb. Give him 11, actually. And a good start for the Ledgers. Into the plus territory now. They're at the 42. Or 47, pardon me. Sorry. And despite a couple of fumbled snaps, fumbled exchanges, Cullen King has looked terrific. 6'6" junior for the Ledgers. They bring in another man to block here. Give is to Humphrey, leading total yardage gainer in the first half for Springs. 2-yard pickup for Humphrey. Humphrey has 52 yards on the ground, has that 29-yard complete reception, though, where he was used over the middle in that first half. And he's hard enough to get down when he starts from nothing. When he gets a head of steam going, look out. 2nd and 8. King back under center. They're going to send Korb in motion to the near side. Pitch it now. Korb will be the lead blocker for Humphrey. Humphrey lowers the shoulder and bounces out of bounds off of Cole Wiedmeyer, who will get credited for a tackle, but he did not initiate any of that contact. That was all Humphrey. 8 yards on the play. It's going to be either 3rd and inches or first down. They're going to give him the first down. Now, this is the 3rd time this has happened. The far side official has waved the chains through, and then the referee stops it to look. Just trust your guys there. King snaps. Takes the snap, hands it. Korb, nice patient run that time from Jonathan Korb. Korb's going to get 9. Just kind of picking his way through the blocks and letting guys like Schrouth and Longley and Yogers get downfield and sustain those blocks, seal them off. Give us to Humphrey here. He just dives forward. Gain of 3 there. Down to the 24-yard line for Humphrey. All rushes so far here on this drive, and it's resulted in 33 yards. And they're close to the red zone again, are the Ledgers. King under center. Give once again is to Humphrey. Up the middle, and they're just trying to wear this Viking defense down, it would appear, with this running attack. 5 yards for Humphrey. Quickly to the line this time are the Ledgers. Hand once again is to Humphrey. It's kind of a triple option look. Humphrey is going to get another first down to the 13. Give him 6 yards on that play. Another first down as the chains continue to move and they're in the red zone. One of these times, I think King's going to pull that and pitch it out to Korb and might have some options on the outside. That's a nice play by the Vikings, Noah Schumacher, knifing through a couple of Ledger's offensive linemen to make the tackle for no gain.
No gain, it'll be 2nd and 10.
So 2nd and 10 for the Ledgers this time. Back onto the field is James Bone as he trots on. The wide receiver gets the play call to his quarterback, Cullen King. King hasn't had to throw any passes here in the second half up to this point. 13 yards away from once again scoring are the Ledgers. Pitch once again out to Humphrey, and I think we're going to get a hold on the edge as the flag gets launched in. And yeah, a hold is the call. Spot foul from where that flag landed.
Preliminary indication is holding. Holding against the Ledgers.
Flag was thrown at the 11, or landed at the 11, so should be marched off 10 yards from there out to the 21-yard line. It is. And that will set up a 2nd and, 19? 2nd and 18? 2nd and 18 is what they'll decide on. I don't trust my math. You shouldn't either. Cullen King back under center. Same two running backs behind him. King's. Oh, looked like it might be a toss, but the delayed handoff draw is snuffed out by the Vikings. That was number 61 on the tackle. That's Sebi Paul. Paul, one of the many talented sophomores on the Vikings, in the Vikings trenches. You got Chop Simmons and Oscar Bloom, Ethan Peterson, all part of this huge sophomore class that the Vikings have. And huge, I mean in size, both height and inability to move them, shall we say. King back under center. It's 3rd and 18. King's going to pass for the first time this possession. Steps into it. Nice pass across the middle, and it's caught for a first down. Down inside the 5 to the 2-yard line. That's a 20-yard completion, and on the other end of it is Josiah Mole, another of the juniors, and Mole went up and got it. Quickly to the line are the Ledgers. King under center, turns, hands, and scoring is number 37, Brendan Gertig. 2 yards on the touchdown plunge for Gertig, and it's 20-0. Man, that was a nice pass. King under some pressure. There was a couple of Vikings right in his lap, and he stepped up in the pocket and launched it 20 yards, and Mole did a nice job to go up kind of like a basketball player to get a rebound, and he won that battle. Roddick's kick through, or Rotman, pardon me, kicks through, and it's 21-0. That drive for the Ledgers went all of 57 yards, started at their own 43. Took them 10 plays to score. The big play was a pass play, but 9 of the 10 were all rushes. Most of the time it was Jonathan Korb and number 33, Levi Humphrey, but it was sophomore Brendan Gertig who was the one that scored on the play. So the Vikes trying to get something going offensively here in the third quarter. 6:03 left to play in the third. And the Ledgers were out there ready to look like they were ready to kick it. The Vikes taking their time here on the sideline, trying to regroup and try to find some semblance of momentum here in a homecoming game that has kind of turned a little bit sour. Plenty of time left, though, and the Vikings, they got the athletes to do it. So we'll see if they can get a couple of guys in space. Haven't seen much of Bubba Coolibert today. Haven't seen hardly any Cole Wiedmeyer either. And I just wonder if Wiedmeyer isn't at 100%.
Cole Rotman will be kicking off for the Ledgers. Tyson Lofton.
Same collection of Vikings back to try to return this kick. Huey, Wiedmeyer, Kulibert, and Lofton. Lofton is the deepest of all of them back for the Vikings. Trying to chip into a 3-possession lead for the Ledgers. And Rotman will send it deep. This is I shouldn't say deep. This is a short kick. Goes picked up by Huey. Huey knifes his way through. Gets a couple of blocks, breaks the tackle, and he finds his way out to the 43-yard line. That's a great return by Jacob Huey. Out to the 43. Vikes will start 1st and 10 there. That's a little bit better than starting at your own 10-yard line, I would say. And Ethan Cole trots out onto the field trying to lead this offense to its first score of the game. Ethan Cole, one of the MCs last night for Skit Night. As I always say, Skit Night's the greatest night on the campus of WLA every year. So much fun had at Skit Night. Hope you could join us in person. If you couldn't, hope you joined us online. Here's Cole, designed run. First time since the first possession of the game that we've seen a designed Ethan Cole run. Had a couple of scrambles there in the middle quarters. They're going to give him 4 yards. 2nd and 6. But Cole did a terrific job last night. He, Kulibert, and homecoming princess Ella Borgwart did a nice job emceeing last night. Ella Borgwart, Mason Lynch, your prince and princess. Maddie Lair and Bubba Kulibert were your king and queen last night. 3 for Lofton there. Puts it at the 50-yard line. No, they're going to put it at the Springs 49. So we'll give them 4 on that one. 3rd and 2. I would say this would qualify as 4-down territory for the Vikings. Kind of getting to that point in the game where you got to start churning out first downs however you can get them. That was a pancake block there by Tyson Lofton. There were a couple of Springs players that came through, found their way into the Viking backfield, and one of them just got decleated by the running back of the Vikings, and it was an important lead block. Needed 2, Cole got 3. First down for the Vikes. They're at the plus 45 now. It hasn't been for a lack of opportunities for WLA. They've found themselves in Springs territory. I believe this is the 4th possession now that the Vikes have moved it into Ledger territory, and they have no points on the board. That includes one when they were in the red zone. Here's a nice run from Ebert. Fumbled, though. He fumbled the ball on that far side. There's a scrum. Looked like there were a couple of Vikings that were the first one there, and it's Noah Gensler who hops on top of it. Ebert with a nice run. Give him 7 yards for Brendan Ebert. Put the ball on the turf, though, and thankfully for the Vikings, Noah Gensler was first to it. Ball's inside the 40, call it the 38-yard line. And this is better in terms of ball movement for the Vikings. Cole, shotgun, takes the snap, turns, hands, Lofton, far side. Runs over a couple of Ledgers, and it's going to be close. Looks like that should be marked at about the 36. Oh, they're going to call it 3rd down. Thought maybe he got to the 35 there, so give him 2 yards on the play. Pretty much 3 yards. We're going to give him 3, even though he didn't get the first down. Inches to go. And again, the Vikings, I don't believe I've seen Ethan Cole under center at all this year. They go shotgun. Cole able to bully his way across, break another tackle, and he's down inside the 30-yard line. We'll call it the 30 for 6 yards. 29. Give him 7. Two receivers to the top, got a tight end. One receiver is Noah Gensler at the bottom of the formation. Cole and Lofton in the backfield. Give us to Tyson Lofton. He'll go ahead for about 3 yards. Mark it at the 26. 2nd and 7. Lofton has run hard today, and like I said earlier in the game, you're going to take a lot of hits in a game like this, and they always do, talking about Cole and Lofton. It's just part of the territory when you're going to carry the ball as much as they do during a game and during a season that you're going to get a little beat up. Cole back into the shotgun formation. That's a tough snap. Cole able to handle it, but he's not going to get anything from that. Bad snap. And Cole loses 2 of the 3 yards that were just gained by Tyson Lofton. It's going to be 3rd and 9. So right after positive, Vikings, you got to stay ahead of the chains against this Springs team, and they're not doing that on a consistent basis today, are the Vikings. Couple of nice plays in a row, and then you go negative and find yourself in a 3rd and 9 situation. Vikes you'd think got to get a couple of yards to make this 4th down should they go for it a little easier. Ethan Cole just leveled a linebacker, and Cole says, don't need 4th down. Going to take it inside of the 20. Vikes' second red zone trip of the game. It's a 10-yard gain for the Vikings down to the 18 by Ethan Cole. And that was a physical run from a guy that doesn't mind physicality. Watch him play basketball one time. Goes into the paint, takes the contact, usually finishes through the contact, Ethan Cole. And that time he did the exact same thing on the football field. 2 receivers to the near side. One of them is Cole Wiedmeyer. He comes in jet motion, hand off up the middle to Tyson Lofton. He's going to gain 2 yards down to the 16. Nice drive working here for the Vikings. This will be the 11th play of the drive. It's 2nd and 8. And a couple ledgers now with their hands on their hips, hands on their knees. Maybe Vikes finally putting a sustained drive together. A couple of too many 3 and outs or 4 and outs as they were in the first half. 2 receivers to the near side. Once again, jet motion here for Wiedmeyer. Vikes going to run the counter play to the near side, and Cole's going to pick his way forward. Got 3 or 4 there. See where the mark is. Looks like it's down at the 13-yard line. 14? 3rd and 6. So just give him 3 yards on the play. 3rd and 5 coming. To start the 4th quarter, Vikes will be in the red zone down at the 14-yard line, and a opportunity to put points on the board for the first time today. It's 21-0. Springs looks good, and the Vikes are going to have a pretty good, pretty special 4th quarter here on Homecoming if they're going to turn this result around. They'll switch ends of the field, and we'll return. You're watching WLA Football on WLA TV. Before we return here to action in the 4th quarter, they just blew the whistle, and they're going to switch sides. Tell you the week ahead. Monday, football JV plays against St. Mary's Springs. On Tuesday, cross country goes to Laconia. Also on Tuesday at 4:30, boys varsity soccer takes on Dodgeland Hustisford. That's away down in Juneau. Nothing on Wednesday. Thursday, JV soccer heads to Kettle Moraine Lutheran. And volleyball hosts, no, check that, they're at Springs up on the hill. And boys varsity soccer hosts Lourdes Valley Christian next Friday. Football is at Mayville for the conference leading Mayville Cardinals. 5-0 in the conference are the Cards. Here's a little bit of looked like a miscommunication. Cole and Lofton ran into each other during the handoff. It's going to be 2 yards, but still result in a 4th and 3. Vikes have to stay out there for it. Field goals at this point aren't going to do much for you. Vikes were down at the 12. Oh, man, this is kind of ominous. I think they were at the 12-yard line when they were stopped on 4th down in the first quarter. And they're at the 12-yard line right now. 2 receivers to the top, 1 to the bottom. Cole and Lofton in the backfield, 5 linemen and a tight end in the formation. Lofton makes a big block. That looked like a horse collar tackle, which may not be a foul in high school sports, high school football. Admittedly, I haven't looked at that. Cole is slung to the ground, throws his hands in the air. I would suggest his reaction would seem to think that should have been a foul. He lost 3 yards on the play, and the Vikes once again are stopped on 4th down. They are now 0 for 3, going for the 4th down conversion. Cullen King and the St. Mary Springs Academy Ledgers will take over there at the 15-yard line. Quick screen pass. They had blockers out in front of Josiah Mole, who made that big reception on the last possession. And that time, Mole only gains a yard. I don't think Mole really realized how open he was and how much space he had, because he kind of cut upfield or cut inside when his receiving teammate had kind of sealed off a Viking to the inside. And then he tried to cut it back outside, and by that point, the Vikes had rallied to the football. Here's King. He turns, hands, falls loose, picked up by the Vikings. Jacob Huey recovers the fumble, and I believe that was, once again, Korb that put the ball on the turf. And the Vikings got a huge play here, able to turn the tide a little bit, and this is the loudest the Viking fans have been all afternoon. Huey recovered it, took it back down to the 12-yard line, so right back to where they were. The Vikes turned it over at the 12, and now they're going to start their drive at the 12. 3rd time the Vikes have been in the red zone. So far they're 0 for 2, have not scored at all. Ethan Cole, Tyson Lofton in the backfield. Kulibert, Wiedmeyer to the near side. Far side is Gensler. Near side run. Cole has a seam, breaks a couple of tackles. He's into the end zone. First touchdown of the day for the Vikings, and it's on the legs of Ethan Cole. Number 12 takes it 12 yards, and the Vikes are on the board. Strong run by Cole. Good blocking by the offensive line, allowed a hole, and Cole had to make one guy miss or run through the tackle. Big physical guy like Ethan Cole ran through the tackle. Cole goes 6'2", 205. And Cole will try to complete the possession with the field goal. Suppose if you're Springs, you just say, we got to take care of the football and this game is over, but they didn't do it on that possession, and it leads to a Viking touchdown. One play, 12-yard drive for the Vikings. Don't come much easier than that. They cut into the lead, 21-7. Vikes will kick it off to the Ledgers coming up here and see if the defense can force more mistakes from St. Mary Springs. But there will be no homecoming shutout, which, well, that's a good thing. So we'll see what this does. Momentum, said it a couple of times, momentum can be a weird thing. And that might be the spark that the Vikings needed. Let's hope it is. If you're a Viking fan, you certainly hope that's the spark that they needed. And certainly hope they can keep it going. Cole,
Deep for the Ledgers.
Mr. Do-It-All for the Vikings, will
Number 37, Brendan Gerdig.
kick it deep. Well, I suppose if there was ever going to be a time for an onside kick, maybe you try it now. Cole's going to run up. It will be a deep kick, and it will be fielded down inside the 10-yard line by Springs. Up on the far side, making a couple of guys miss. And this is a response for Springs if you ever needed one. Cole saves the touchdown with a tackle at the 40-yard line. Mark him down at the 38. That was a great return by Brendan Gerdig. He has a touchdown on the day rushing, and he took that one inside the 10, closer to the 5-yard line. Knifed through a couple of tackles, and that is a response that you're looking for if you are St. Mary's Springs. My guess is we'll see more Brendan Gerdig. In the first half, after Korb fumbled, we didn't see much of him in the first half. And I don't, trying to see if he's out there right now. Korb is an electric runner. Yeah, he's out there for the Ledgers. Give here, though, is to his running back partner, number 33, Levi Humpfner. And Humpfner will take it down. Looks to be about 8 yards or so for Humpfner. Yeah, 8 yards. 2nd and 2 for the Ledgers. Obviously, hindsight's 20/20, but if you're the Vikings, you say, if we're going to give up that kind of return, might as well have onside kicked it and taken our chances. King under center, takes the snap, turns, gives, and right met at the line of scrimmage was Korb. He's going to gain a yard on the play, get down to the 30-yard line, but he got hammered there by Ethan Cole, who was waiting for him in the hole.
Gain of a yard, it'll be 3rd and 1.
3rd and 1, now going to slow it down a little bit. Are the Ledgers, take their time, be a little bit more deliberate. Still have a 14-point lead, 9 minutes on the clock left here in the game. Big 3rd down. My guess is Springs would probably go for this should they get stuffed here on 3rd. They're going to throw it. Maybe this is an indication that they'd be going for it. And I think Wiedmeyer might have got a little handsy there on the far side. Everyone wearing black polos here on the near side threw their hands up. I think they would believe this to be a little bit of a ticky-tack call. But I think they're going to get Cole Wiedmeyer, who was covering James Bone, for pass interference. Yeah.
Pass interference assessed against the Vikings will give the Ledgers a first
It'll be a
down.
first down. That's a big call and a big play in a big moment. And it's going to take the ball down to the 15-yard line.
1st and 10 Ledgers.
That's a tough one if you're a Vikings fan. But again, another instance of the Vikings not helping themselves. Here is Korb. Slithers his way on the far side of the field. It looks like he's gonna give him about 3 yards on that pickup.
It'll be 2nd and 7 for the Ledgers.
2nd and 7 for St. Mary's Springs Academy. Worth noting, Ethan Cole talked a lot about Ethan today. Rightfully so. Tremendous 3-sport athlete. Congratulations to him deciding to continue his athletic and academic career at Augustana University for baseball.
Levi
Hempfner up the middle.
on the play.
Gain a yard and a half, 2 yards. We'll give him 2 up here. Make it 3rd and 5 for Levi Humpfner. Cole, a tremendous pitcher, can also hit the ball. great scorer on the basketball court. Should have some good battles between these two on the basketball court. Springs and WLA again this year. Hefner is met by Ethan Cole. Speak of the great linebacker, and he shall appear. 4 yards. He needed 5, did Humphrey. He got 4. 4th and 1. Coming onto the field is Lucas Ramaker. Not a name we've called a ton of times today, but he brings the play into his quarterback, Cullen King. A lot of these starters for Springs now. 3 seniors on the line, including Billy Schrouth, but a lot of juniors on this offense. Jumbo package into block. Turn, hand, and touchdown. Second touchdown for Brendan Gerdig. Gerdig went up that left side and scored a second time today. That was a 6-yard touchdown plunge on 4th and 1. That is the response you're looking for if you're the Ledgers. Go 39 yards, great kickoff return. Point after attempt is up and good, 28-7. And that'll take the wind right back out of the sails of the Vikings. After you felt like maybe they had stolen some momentum, the Ledgers steal it right back. 28-7, back in a few moments. You're watching WLA football on WLA TV. Rotman will kick off. Turned on the wrong microphone there. Rotman will kick off for the Ledgers. This one's a little bit deeper. Might be the first chance to return today for Lofton. Lofton, a couple of awkward bounces, picks it up inside his own 15, takes it about to the 20-yard line. That's where he's cut down. Vikes will start at their own 20, needing a quick score here. 6:32 left in the ball game here on a gorgeous homecoming day. Absolutely gorgeous. Great breeze, not too hot, sun's out. Worried we might be battling showers today, but got some this morning, probably going to get some later on this afternoon, but blessed with great weather this homecoming. I remember some cold ones back in the day, but this is perfect. Not too hot. Like I said, that breeze is great. Just coming out of the southwest right now. The only thing that could make the day any better would be an improbable 21-0 run here in the last 6 minutes and 32 seconds. Vikes gonna have to do something special if they're going to pull out a homecoming victory. And as a loss becomes more inevitable, Vikes can't do this. You got to focus on next week in Mayville. But looking like that showdown with the Lemira Lions might be for the right to play postseason football. Lofton up the middle.
Tyson Lofton over the 20-yard line.
And I don't know if he gained they'll give him a yard there for Tyson. Bring up 2nd and 9. Now, the Lions aren't as good as they were last year. Last year, Lamira, for my money, was the best team in the Flyway Conference, having seen all the teams play in the spring. I know they ended up co-champions with Amro. I think that would have been an awesome game to watch. Didn't get to see it, unfortunately. But the Lions, not the same team this year. Still a very solid football team, and a team that the Vikes will have to play well against in the final game of the season to earn the right to play postseason football. 2 yards for Cole there leaves 3rd and 7, and these 3rd and medium longs have kind of been where the Vikes have lived today, and that's part of the reason they've struggled offensively. Just not able to stay ahead of the chains quite enough against what is a very fast, aggressive, physical defense in the Ledgers. Next week, the Vikings will see the best running game in the Flyway Conference. Mayville's running back over 1,000 yards this season so far. 2 running backs in the Flyway. Both Mayville and Campbellsport have 1,000-yard running backs. Next best is Levi Humphrey, who has 538. So you just a couple of great runners. Ebert gets a yard.
It'll be 4th and 5 from the 25.
4th and 5. Vikes have to go for it. As we tick under 4.5 minutes to play here this afternoon. Little cloud cover rolling in. The Vikes are going to punt it away. That's a great punt. It is fielded by Bone, who goes out of bounds after about 5 yards on the return. Bone takes it out to the 36-yard line, which is where the Ledgers will take over. And under 4 minutes now to play. This was a good battle for a large chunk of the day, but looking like a result is fairly inevitable at this point for the Ledgers, who have, every time the Vikes have asked a question, they've had an answer. I wouldn't say this, I don't know if Springs would tell you this is the best game of football they've ever played. Maybe not even the best game they've played this year. Here's King, looking to the near side. Double coverage and picked off by the Vikes. That's Bubba Coolibert, the homecoming king, making a play. And just as I say it, the Vikes, it's still going to take some doing, but it's, I would say that's some life breathed into him there in the form of a Cullen King interception. And King had been impressive through the air up to that point. Still has been. Maybe a little bit of an ill-advised throw there into double coverage. If it wasn't Coolibert, it might have been another Viking. Two receivers to the top as Ethan Cole trots back out on the field. Two receivers to the bottom. No tight end in. Now they'll motion in Wiedmeyer to be part of the blocking package. He's going to come through, set up a tunnel screen, and Wiedmeyer can't haul in the pass, and it'll drop incomplete. 2nd and 10. Looked like they had it set up. Wiedmeyer, the timing was thrown off a little bit. Wiedmeyer didn't really get his head around, and Cole was waiting and just had to throw the football. When you're setting up those tunnel screens, you have to let a couple of your offensive linemen are out setting up the screen. You got to let a couple of defensive linemen through. Cole ran out of time. Clock went off in his head. He knew he had to get rid of it, and Wiedmeyer wasn't ready for the pass. 2nd and 10. Similar look. They have Ebert now into the game at that tight end spot. Lofton and Cole in the backfield. Two receivers to the top, one to the bottom. The one at the bottom is Gensler. Cole will keep on the designed quarterback run.
Ethan Cole for little to no gain.
And a little bit of extracurriculars after that. 1 yard on the play for Ethan Cole. Third and 9. Again, this has just been the story of the day for the Vikes. Clock will tick under 3 minutes after this play. 2 receivers to either side, motion in Wiedmeyer again. This time he'll go out for a pass. Cole looks to the far side, making his way through the progressions. Now he's going to scramble, run to the near side, cut up the field. It's going to be close. Not a friendly spot there on the near side, and I believe he's going to be a yard short. So give Cole 8 of the 9 that he needed. So 4th and 1, gets it close enough to be able to go for this, and you're in plus territory as well. But the clock is not your friend at this point. Cole stepped out of bounds, so it stopped momentarily. 2:52 left in the game. Got to score quickly, get a couple of onside kicks, and that's the recipe. Cole keeps, once again, goes up the middle, and that was a quick flag. See what the call is. It's going to be a hold. Must have happened right away because that flag was out before Cole got to the line of scrimmage. They'll march it off. Should be about 4th and 11 based on where the flag was thrown. So Cole gets the first down, and again, kind of throws his hands up like, what am I supposed to do? It's like running on a treadmill. You're not going anywhere. That's how Cole feels right now, I'm sure. Every time he makes a big play, there's a hanky on the floor or something like that. So the Vikes will line up for it. I believe they will go for it. And Cole is slung down in the backfield by a pair of Springs. That's Chuck Kebbell, who is the first one there. Cole gets helped up, flips the ball off the field, and with 2 minutes and 43 seconds left in the game, the Vikes will turn it over to the Ledgers, and Cole will go collect his gloves and head back out onto the field to play linebacker. Can't fault the effort of one of your captains, number 12 out there, or any of the Vikings for that matter. A lot of two-way players out there for the Vikes. Max Bauer, as you heard, into the game for the Ledgers. Here's another run for Jonathan Korb. Korb kind of picks his way. Another good patient run by him. 4 yards on the play. 2nd and 6. Just hand off time and watch the clock tick down for the Ledgers. Low snap. And nice play there on the edge. That's Oscar Bloom, who just came exploding through the line for the Vikings. And tackled Bauer for a loss of 3. I'll call it loss of 2. "28 points for Springs, 2 of them scored by Levi Humphrey. Touchdowns 9 and 10 on the year for Levi Humphrey. Then a couple of touchdowns for Brendan Gerdig. That's Gerdig right there up the middle. And it'll be 4th and 3. Gerdig has a pair of touchdowns as well today. He came into the game with 1. And they'll have an injury timeout.
Macri is up and at it.
So it'll be 4th and 3.
4th and 3 for the Ledgers.
And they're going to stay out there. Will the offense? It's a quarterback keeper for Bauer. Bauer gets the edge, and he's going to take it the distance. Schumacher gets off the ground, kind of made a gesture that he thought maybe it was a block in the back, but that is a 24-yard scamper for Bauer. And Springs puts the icing on the cake with another 4th down rushing touchdown. Last 2 touchdowns, both scored on rushes on 4th down. 24 yards that time from Bauer. Rotman, his 5th chance to add on an extra point, and he's been successful. 5 for 5. 35-7, a minute 4 seconds left in this one. Got to regroup if you're the Vikings. Got 2 more shots at this 5th win that has been a little elusive. They knew this was going to be a tough part of the schedule. You knew Campbellsport was going to be a good team. Springs is what Springs is every year. Mayville made statements early on in the season that they were going to be a tremendous team, and they've certainly followed through with that with some impressive wins. So you knew this was going to be a 3-game stretch that, you know, if you got one of these, you would be thrilled. But you can't really expect to go into these 3 games where, I mean, anywhere you play Springs is going to be difficult. Going down to Mayville is extremely, extremely difficult, and Campbellsport's a tough place to play as well. So can you go get the one in the final week against Lemira? That's going to become the question. Here's Wiedmeyer. Haven't seen a ton of Cole Wiedmeyer. We did mention earlier that he's got the only kick return or punt return in the Flyway Conference this season, and that's a nice return there, picking his way out to the 39-yard line. Last chance for the Vikings. 58 seconds, and that'll close out the homecoming week here at WLA. Couple of wins for Vikings soccer this week. 4-1 over North Fondy on Tuesday and 1-0 on Thursday against CWC. Couple of sweeps this week for Viking volleyball, Roncalli and North Fond du Lac. So not all negatives for the Vikings. Low snap into the game, by the way, now for the Vikings is number 10, sophomore quarterback Sam Lair. And he handed that one off to Noah Schumacher, and Schumacher went for 6. Should just be one or two more snaps, depending on how aggressive the Vikes want to get with this. With their backups out there on the field. Snap once again by Lair. Give to Schumacher. Schumacher tries to turn the corner. And they'll give him 3 on that one. 3rd and 1. And the Vikes are just going to unstrap the helmets, line up at the 50, and get ready to shake the hands of their rival Ledgers. 35-7. Not necessarily how you draw it up for a homecoming, but the Vikes played hard, and this is a good team on the other side of the coin. So the Ledgers win it 35-7. As we look at the Flyway Conference standings now, these were the only outstanding teams to play their 5th conference game. Mayville stands unbeaten, 5-0 at the top of the conference. They have a wild 217 points scored this season compared to the next best team, which is St. Mary's Springs. After this game, Springs has scored 174 points. Excuse me. So they're still 40 points behind what Mayville has scored this season. Overall on the year, Mayville is 6-1. 5-0 though in the conference. Springs now moves into a tie for second with Campbellsport. Springs has the head-to-head on that one. Campbellsport 4-1. They're tied with the Ledgers. WLA falls to 3-2 on the season, firmly in grasp of the fourth place in the Flyway. Laconia and Lamira both 2-3 on the year. Fond du Lac and Omro both 0-5. So that'll do it. 2 touchdowns apiece for Brandon Gerdig and Levi Humpfner. And a touchdown in the dying moments by Max Bauer. That's how Springs got their 35. For WLA, it was Ethan Cole who scampered in from 12 yards out after a turnover to put some points on the board for the Vikes. 35-7 your final score. Want to thank you for tuning in all week long here on WLA TV when you could. We certainly appreciate that. Hope you enjoyed the homecoming festivities. A couple of volleyball matches on WLA TV. Just a fun week. Skit night last night, football game today. We'll be back here on WLA TV in a couple of weeks. 2 weeks from last night is when Lamira comes to town, and Vikes only get 2 more shots, as I said, at qualifying for playoffs. So we'll see if they can do that. It will be a big upset should they go next week to Mayville and get that win. So hopefully they do, and they don't have to rely on the final game of the season. But we should have a good one coming up in a couple of weeks here on WLA TV between the Lions and the Vikings for a couple of teams that want to play postseason football. Springs qualifies for the postseason with today's win. And they'll take it. A homecoming win on the opponent's, on your rival's home field. You'll take that. Appreciate you tuning in. We're going to say so long. Jordan King with you all afternoon long. And you've been watching and listening to WLA Football on WLA TV.